never heard that, but that's the origin of CAP. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was a mess.
Deep in here now.
It's incredible.
I love it. Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
What up, everybody? How y'all doing over there? We are doing our Miracle Monday. Michael Roberson and his good friend Hannah here. She's a big supporter, so that's why she's here. I told her she couldn't be, but Michael said that she's a big part of his recovery. So that's good. Work's going good.
Love work.
Tell us, because it's real cool. One thing that I learned early on, working in this field, and you're working the field now, is like you get to see one of the most beautiful transformations. If you're here a while, you'll see people come in, and it's almost like you watch cactuses turn to roses.
Yeah.
Because they come in one way and then they leave another way, and like you've transformed, right in front of my eyes. It's pretty cool to watch like the transformation. Yeah, it is. And to watch the growth, right? You came in here at McShin, participant. Not really fighting, but I can tell there was some resistance. Like, damn, do I really want to be here? Yeah. And it probably was hard too, because you're young, trying to fit in, find your niche, and then you excelled as a participant, and then started interning, and then bounced into this wonderful job. And tell us a little bit about that whole, the whole thing, man, because it's been over a year now, right?
Yes. Today's actually 14 months. The 18th. My anniversary is on the 18th, so today's 14 months. Yeah. But I came in October 17th, like in the 5-6 o'clock probably. Coley did my intake, and then I stayed at Chamberlain House for that first night because there wasn't a spot open up yet in the intensive house. And then October 18th was my first day starting the program, and it was a big adjustment. It was like, wow, like what did I get myself into? What did I do? Because like now I went from my own apartment to living in a house with like 9 guys, and it was a big adjustment period. But towards the end of it, it was like, wow, I want to stay. I want to like keep on this path. And it was awesome. And I watched the staff over that 28 days, and I was really impressed by what y'all did, and just how people dedicate their lives to helping other people, and using their lived experience as the requirement for the job, and just guiding other people. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
When did you because how old are you, Michael?
24.
When did you, so you're in the program, when did you, like, the zeal or the desire to start working in this field, when did that kick in for you? When did you realize, hey man, this is something I want to do?
Probably closer towards the end of my internship, like, because Whitney was interning, then I think Libby was interning, and I was like, this seems like good, because I loved sitting down with Whitney and just seeing what she was doing, the work she was doing. And I was like, dang, I want to do that, because I didn't have any options. Like when I came here, I didn't know what I was going to do next, but I mean, it just seemed like the next best thing to do.
Yeah.
And just see where it took me.
What kind of work did you do before you came here?
Warehouse work. I drove a lot of forklifts. I did like inventory control and stuff like that.
I see you as a forklift driver.
I know, it's wild, ain't it?
Now I can't.
Yeah.
I want my forklift certification for no reason.
No, you're
cool.
You got your forklift cert?
I just think it's really cool that you
to
can
have
drive
one?
a forklift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I'm doing some B-roll of that for sure.
Yeah, I never thought you could drive forklift. Maybe like working in the warehouse, but not actually driving the forklift.
No, I was whipping forklifts around and stuff. Yeah, I was whipping those things. It was a lot of fun, but you work in environments that are like hot and sweaty or like super freezing and cold, and then it was, I was tired of doing that. I wanted to work somewhere where I could work inside with people, because I love people, and just Yeah, you're good with people. I think you found your niche for real, man. As a PRS, you killed the game interning here. I wish we could have brought you on. I remember you telling me, I don't know if you remember this, you're like, well, y'all aren't gonna hire me, so I gotta go somewhere else. And I was like, damn, we're gonna lose a good one.
What when you were in the program, I want to talk about the program for a second because you got a little over a year, 14 months in
Mm-hmm.
recovery. I know your pathway, it's 12 step, which is good. That's my pathway too. But being here in that program, what did what was like the biggest obstacle for you in our program?
The biggest obstacle for me was probably letting go of the past and probably healing from, that relationship I just left, just missing, going to bars or just using pretty much. Like I had to like almost like, when someone dies and you like mourn their death, it's like I had to mourn that past life for a little bit and really like come to terms with the fact that like, I'm putting all this work in now. It's not going to be for nothing.
Yeah,
So I was like, this is what I'm going to stick and stay with.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Hannah, you're how old are you, Hannah?
22.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, but both of y'all are young, which is not a bad thing. But like I guess and I'm 45, and so when I think back at 22 and 24, like how hard and I just this man, it's got to be hard because like so many people, it's just like the thing that young people do, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
party, bars, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. It's just like the normal
normal.
thing. Yeah, it's normal thing for the young crowd. I just what I was in prison during those times, like 22, 23. I was incarcerated. So when I got out, like I hit it running bars and all that
Yeah.
stuff, trying to make up for it.
Mhm.
And so I know it's got to be hard. It takes a lot of courage to put some of that
Yeah.
stuff, like you said, mourn it, put it behind you, say,
Mhm.
look, I got to let this stuff go. That's good stuff. What when you're in recovery, what are some things that you've learned in recovery that you do to help you with it?
I mean, it's so hard to keep up with it, but I mean, gratitude for the things that I'm able to do now and like have now. Cause before all the money went to, the bar or, that
You got
next,
more money in your pocket
that
now.
next bag, or just, I get to spend way more time with my family, with my friends. Like I'm able to actually buy things that, like just make me feel good and like it's not up the nose and gone tomorrow. It's like
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's really nice. And just I mean the community, like my NA community is like huge.
So that's a good thing that you're bringing up. So one thing that you've done good is you've got connected in the community.
Yeah, with people who have substantial amounts of clean time.
Yeah. So with that connection, what is it like? And I don't know to ask you this, Michael, is just to try to give some of the viewers that might be out there, struggling, maybe contemplating whether they want to get some help,
Yeah.
or contemplating what to do, to get off drugs or
Yeah.
alcohol. What does that community look like? How does that help you? Like, what do you do? Is there like something like, do you call them, check in with them? The things that
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah, that it's like family because like I have a home group and I actually made her join the home group too because she didn't have one at the time.
I
Yeah,
was
well, when I met her, she didn't have one.
Yeah, I know.
Despite that
Yeah.
story she told you
Or
earlier.
a
Look,
sponsor. So I
Look, y'all, I'm
we
doing
got-
a lot better today.
we
than
got
I
her a
was
good
then.
sponsor. But I mean, it's like family. Like you go to a meeting every week, same time on the same day. So
Yeah.
I know I'll see that collective group of people every week, and we check in, catch up, how's everything going. But as far as my like community outside of that, yeah, I definitely call, text, check in with people. Like I talk to people about literally everything, every single thing, because for the longest time I was like, what's that? When you're like by yourself and you just like
Isolating?
Yes, thank you. I was
Oh.
isolated for the longest time and I, drowned that in,
Yeah.
liquor or drugs and just so now I do the exact opposite of that. I talk to people about everything I got going on because someone just might have been through it and then they can relate and kind of give me tips on what they're doing.
Yeah. And you're for the viewers out there, something that's probably real good for you. And I just know this about you because I know you and I know your family. And we call this in the work that we do, we call this recovery capital. And some of the recovery capital that you have is that you actually have some family that are in recovery as well,
Yeah.
right? Your mom, your stepdad,
Yep.
they're all in it, and they're in it, like they're
Yeah.
not just like half stepping with it. They're in it.
No, yeah, my stepdad is deep into his recovery.
Ask him to give us like just tell like 5 minutes.
It's like perfect timing for them.
I knew it was going to happen, Michael.
Oh, of course it was gonna happen.
That's awesome.
I've been waiting for it.
But go ahead. So your what we were talking about is, you know, your mom, your stepdad, they're in recovery, and you know they're in it too. Like I know them, that they're very active in recovery. And you know, in the field that we work in, one of the things that we always try to assess with people that are coming in, you know, here at McShin, which you probably did when you were interning, you know, is what kind of recovery capital do you have? You know, what resources is what recovery capital is? What resources do you have that can help you in your recovery? You know, whether it's a driver's license, you know, whether it's a job, and then you know, you might have human capital, and you know, you happen to have your mom, you know, who's pretty dedicated to recovery. So how has that benefited you?
It's benefited me in the way that like they both went through this program. So like when I finally reached out for help when I was at my lowest, my mom was like, you can come home, but you're getting clean first. And so she brought me here. And then I was like, I was still wanting to go home after that. But then, you know, they told me too. They were like, once you get there, you're going to love it. And I was like, I don't believe you, but I'm going to do this so I can come back home. But I ended up falling in love with it. So, I mean, they've definitely guided me on the path, like setting me in position, and then just left me to kind of, you know, just realize like what I wanted out of it. And I mean, they were right. They were right because they've been through it over and over. Like they know. So I mean, they definitely guided me with like, you know, their lived experience. So that's been awesome. I don't really talk to them too much about my personal recovery just because they'll talk to me like they're my parents rather than another person in recovery.
Yeah.
So I rely on my network for that.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Michael, one thing I know just from being a parent, with my kids is like, it don't matter. Like, man, I got a lot of kids, but I got 3 right now that I'm actually, you know, that I'm raising. I've been raising since they've been born. And like I could tell them, the sky's blue outside, and it's blue. And I could say, Cam, the sky's blue, and he's still gonna question what I tell him.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from me. You know what I mean? And that's how we do as kids, you know, with our parents at the age that you're at. So like, you know, I get it, man. You got to go out elsewhere to get that recovery. You know, and that's understandable. You know, and I think it's important too, because part of your you know, part of your using, and I don't want to say trauma, but just part of like your history and all that probably coincided with your mom, like, you know, all of that stuff. Yeah. So it's like you got to heal from that, you know, from whatever happened, all that stuff. So it's like you got to have your own network, own kind of thing to get connected with. But don't ever want, if I give you anything about being a kid to your parents, man, which I've seen you interact with them, and I don't think this at all, but just to give you something, is don't ever stop respecting them. You know, they know. You know, we might not as kids like listen to them, we might question them, but you know, still continue to respect them, because they love you. You know, they're gonna give you good stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah, and you know, I got a 15-year-old right now. He's gonna be 16. And like, man, he's a good kid, solid kid. Like, you know, he wasn't like I was, you know, when I was in 9th grade. I was skipping school, you know, getting high. I mean, I think that's the first time I started shooting dope, 10th grade. So like, I was, the only thing that kept me any bit of sane was football season, right? And my son, he's way better than me, but sometimes he's a little disrespectful. Right? Told me to shut up the other day. Man, I was ready to knock the.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah, man.
Oh my
you
God.
know, and I had to straighten him. You know, and he realizes he realized he was wrong, and we had the heart to heart, which was hard for me to have the heart to heart, because I don't know if you're like this, Michael, but whenever I get in any type of, I guess, argument with someone I love, like a dispute with them, I'll play this little game with them, and it's like when I get mad, it's like, all right, you know, you act like that, I won't talk to you, right? And so then we'll walk around the house seeing who can, seeing seeing who breaks, who can go the longest without talking, right?
And you're the 40-year-old, and he's 50.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
so funny.
You're playing the kid game right
I
now.
am, but we would like to pause and take a quick second to shout out our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, so we're very grateful for those that have sponsored the podcast. The McShin Foundation's Getting Her podcast would not be here without our sponsors, our beautiful sponsors. So first, we'd like to say thank you to Avenues Treatment Center. If you are looking for treatment, they have mental health and substance use, primarily substance use disorders, but they will help with mental health as well. They do have detox. Give them a call, 804-638-7329, and you can ask for Kelly Eason. Reach out to Avenues Treatment Center. And up next is New Growth Behavior Health. New Growth Behavior Health is located here in Richmond, Virginia. They are a local treatment center. Please give them a call, 804-250-6028. We would not be here without our sponsors. They help with substance use disorders. Please give them a call at 804-250-6028. That's New Growth Behavior Health. Thank you, New Growth Behavior Health. And if you're looking for any services, give them a call. They do take insurance. And we also would like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Align Community and Treatment Services. They are another local treatment services for substance use disorder here in the Richmond, Virginia. Please give them a call if you're looking for some services. There's a wide variety of options here in the Richmond area. So you're very, very fortunate if you are suffering from substance use disorder. So give Align Community and Treatment Services a call. They also take insurance, 804-214-6460. So if you're looking for any help, any services to help with addiction, to help with mental health, give our sponsors a call. All of them work hand in hand with helping individuals with substance use disorder and individuals with mental health disorders. Once again, that's Avenues Treatment Center, 804-638-7329. New Growth Behavior Health, 804-250-6028. And Align Community and Treatment Services, 804-214-6460. We're going to thank you to our sponsors out there. And now back to our program. Good at it. He don't get He just walks around. He don't care if I talk to him or not. He just walks in the kitchen, grabs some food, and then he's got, I just gave him brand new beats. Just walk around, listen to the beats that I gave him. Doesn't get, I say one word to him, right? And so he wins the game. And then if I do it with Kelly, she wins the game too, because she'll go, she thrives in isolation. So if she don't talk to me, she's good too. So then I'm like going crazy, pulling hair out my head, freaking out, like, why they won't talk to me?
Yeah. I could tell. Yeah.
We can see it.
So then I break. Yeah. I'm the one that ends up breaking and like, and then recovery kicks in and I talk to him. But what I learned, right, is, just man, your parents love, and I know your parents, stepdad, your mom, I know they love you and they care about you. Yeah. So don't ever lose that respect for them, and not when I say respect, like I mean respect as in like the information they're giving you. Mm-hmm. I know you go elsewhere, right? But they'll always be there and they'll give you good stuff. So one thing I wanted to ask you too before we left out here, Michael, is how's the job going? I know the place you work at, I know it's great, and I know the people there, the people are great. Like, how's that been helping you just basically having a good job?
Yeah. Well, it's awesome because I sit in between two people who are in recovery as well, Holly and Aaron, and both have been in this program as well. And I mean, it's awesome. It's like I have two people that I can use as a sounding board all day.
Hell yeah.
And we talk about life and everything. And it's like I get everything from a person who is in recovery, like their point of view. Because I mean, just like you were talking about with like that silent treatment stuff, and then that recovery kind of kicks in after the fact, because now we're able to sit and think about stuff and be like, oh dang, maybe I did do that, or maybe that wasn't the right response.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like a good check and balance, because like trying to be the healthiest version of myself. I'm not going to the bars or buying drugs or anything like that, but I noticed I have a bad shopping problem, like very bad spending habit.
Yeah, apply the first,
really bad.
Apply the first step to that.
Yeah, so
it's really quick and bad.
She's seen it. I spent $300 in like 4 minutes. I literally walked in the store. It was bad.
Turned my head, and he was like, I'm gonna buy this $200 thing and that $200 thing, and I was like,
well, that one was $45 off. So I was like, yeah, I gotta get
discount.
that.
No, well, he gets ready to move out and have to pay rent.
I know, right? So like now I've been doing this thing where, the rent I'm about to pay, I would be spending there. I put it in savings right now, so it gives me a good lump sum.
Look at you.
Yeah, because I work with a therapist too, who does our family group here, and she's like really good at like telling me about myself. And I'm like, dang, she is so right. I'm like, I don't like you right now, but that's really good stuff. And so, I mean, I love working where I work because therapists, people in recovery. And then like I also work with medical providers and seeing them do their job, and it's like, oh shoot, I might want to go to school for that later.
Yeah,
Like, and just
that's
seeing
good.
how awesome like their job is, and like they get like a lot of free time too. Like they're not confined to like a 9 to 5 every single day.
You're getting a plethora of information from all angles.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Anna told me about that with you when we were talking about, we were on the phone and she was telling me how sometimes she'll be working with you and she'll start spitting off knowledge that she knows, and then all of a sudden you'll be like repeating back the correct information, like when it's like relevant.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at him.
I'm like,
they're learning something.
I'm a nurse practitioner by proxy right now.
Oh,
That's
God.
how I feel.
Well, now she's that way from now.
Yeah.
I used to say I was a doctor.
That's awesome.
Like, call me a psychiatrist. That's what I used to say. You know, one thing I learned, Michael, is that if we just stay willing to learn, willing to grow, willingness is the foundation of all growth. So as long as you stay willing, you'll continue to grow. And I think that's good, man. Soak up that information. Ask when Aaron. I love everybody over there that works over there. They're all great.
Yeah, I love
Aaron did. So Aaron was, when I first started here. Nobody that's here now worked here when I started here, except for Honesty. It was me and Honesty. But everybody else has gone. Erin was the women's program manager.
Yeah.
And she wanted to prank me. And so like this is how she pranked me. And I took it like a champ. But she took, so we had those vending machines down there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they used to be on the other side of the hall, but I had to move down the end of the hall. But anyways, I got somebody to go buy a bunch of sodas for the machine. And then I left. I had to go do something. And when I came back, she had took all the sodas out of the boxes and just laid them all in my office. Ask her when you see her. Say, Jesse, I forgot what you did.
I'm gonna have to ask her about that. That's so funny.
I need the full story from her about that.
She took them all, and her and this guy named Cotter, I think was his name. He was like a facility maintenance guy. And they put them all in my office, just laid them out everywhere. So I couldn't even walk in my office.
That sounds like an Aaron thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I took it.
Extreme.
I laughed.
That's
I joked.
extreme.
But it was cool. It was funny. I thought it was cool. But before we get out of here, you got any part words you want to tell anybody listening, anybody tuning in? You got like any words of encouragement, or maybe a suggestion, some advice, anything you want to give anybody out there?
Yeah. I would, like you said, willingness is like a big part. Like I came in here just defeated, and I was willing to try anything different to get me here. But it's not only willingness, but having to like the strength to stay on the path and keep going and keep, experiencing new stuff and taking suggestions was big for me too. And I see patients every day who are fighting to, stop using illicit substances, and like they're using a form of MAT. And then it's beautiful to watch that process, because eventually we see them get off of MAT. And it's like, whether you feel like you're trading one for another, I feel like anytime you're not using something illicit, you have more room to not only be safe and reduce, the percentage of deaths, but also like one day you'll just find that point where you're like, okay, like I think I'm ready to stop everything, and I think it's good. And I talk to people all the time about going to meetings, find a pathway. Like if I didn't have a pathway, I would still probably be making some real toxic decisions. I'd probably still be a toxic person. I probably am to an extent still, but not as bad, because I practice self-reflection a lot more. And, so I feel like that's a big part of recovery too, not just stopping using, but there was a reason why I started using. Mm-hmm. And, I was filling holes somewhere, some type of trauma or anything. So like, I definitely suggest people try therapy, because I loved going to a therapist. Okay. It was awesome. It really helped me a lot. But that's kind of all I got.
It's good. Well, so there you have it, everybody. Miracle Monday, Michael Roberson. Get a community, right? Get connected in that community. Find a pathway. That's what I hear you saying. That's some good suggestions, y'all. Find a pathway and get connected in that pathway.
Yeah.
And continue to be willing, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming on, Michael and Hannah there.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Hannah.
You're welcome.
Thank you both.
All right. Excuse me.